Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time, back with Dustin from Convoy Home Loans. How you doing, buddy?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well. So, topic number one is probably a layup. Probably people could guess it. You and I obviously work in the real estate business. You're in the mortgage business. It's a debt-based business, and the Fed gave us 50 basis points yesterday, and then showed us what their thoughts were via the dot plot. So, what'd you think of yesterday? What stuck out to you? What was the surprise, if anything? What do you got?
Yeah, I think it was no surprise, obviously, that it was a 50 basis point move. I think everybody was just waiting to see what the dot plot would look like. I think it told us, I think it would end up at what, five technically
Five
is what
one,
the
5-1.
terminal 5-1, which is what, a quarter in February, a quarter in March. Um, I think you could argue that, Powell's comments were hawkish yesterday, but the market didn't believe that.
Oh,
The market just was like, we're still going into a recession. We still think that they're going to somehow, I don't believe this, but they're going to start cutting rates in end of 2023, which I don't think is feasible. But at least, the funny thing that this always happens when the Fed speak, they raise rates, 10-year goes down, mortgage rates go down. Why? Because the market just completely overlooked basically what Powell said.
yeah. So I want to say that again for folks. People still don't get this, right? They're like, Michael, I don't get it. The Fed hit us with 50 basis points. Why didn't mortgage rates go up? I'm like, mortgage rates move in anticipation. And right now, these are my words, not yours. You can feel free to disagree. Right now, with the mortgage, and again, the 10-year is down today. It
It's
is,
below 55, right?
yeah, it's like 3.46 or something. It's like, so again, what the market is saying is we are going into a recession. At this point, it feels like the market is saying it's going to be bigger than the garden variety recession, and the Fed won't get anywhere close to 5-1. I think that's what's going on in the market. What do you think?
Yeah, I think, well, all of this, in my opinion, what the Feds are obviously trying to do, it's with inflation, and yes, core is more important. They've made it clear to them, but the problem that we have is they've made it all clear in 2022, like, let's get down to 2% inflation. Like that's so far from happening right now. I could see, getting down to six is easy,
Yes.
hopefully in 2023, but getting down to two, I don't know how long that could possibly take. It could take 3, 5, 10, maybe never, right?
Yeah.
Because I think there's a new benchmark that we have to have the Feds realize and the market realize that I think maybe 4% inflation is more realistic where we got to target, because
Yeah.
two would just destroy our economy. If we really wanted the Feds to get to two, well, they
Yeah.
should have done 1 point increases all year, and the kids should have done it again yesterday. So
It,
I don't think that's
it
realistic.
it's funny for me because it wasn't about the 50 basis points yesterday. For me, it was the dot plot, and the terminal rate was interesting, 5-1. But I like looking at that, but also looking at what they said for GDP and unemployment, because the story does not tie together for me. So this is what I saw. Okay, we're going to go to 5-1. We're going to have a GDP that is below trend, and I would argue stagflation. We're only going to grow 0.5% all of next year. We're going to have inflation over 4%. And then the kicker is unemployment only goes up to 4.6. I that story doesn't tie together very well for me. What do you think?
I agree. I mean, obviously, the biggest uh, hurdle that we have in front of us is the labor market, and trying to figure that out first is going to be I mean, most important, I believe, in terms of not only just the market itself, but our economy.
Yeah. To your point about inflation, I don't, if the Fed really wants 2%, 4.6% unemployment doesn't get us there.
No way.
And again, no, it doesn't work. The math isn't there, and it certainly doesn't get us there quickly. There it has to go north of 5. And again, I'm not calling that. I'm just saying if they really want 2%, it has to go north of 5. The one thing I did think was interesting is they did acknowledge, to your point, that getting to 2% would take a while. They actually pegged it as 2025. I'm like, okay, right? If you're willing to go that slow, maybe, maybe. What do you
I
think?
think I think that like I just kind of touched on, or you have getting the easy stuff on inflation, like your regular kind of consumer,
Yeah,
that's
stuff,
fine.
physical goods. Yeah.
Yeah, that's easy. We can do that. But when we actually see the trickle down into obviously the industry that I'm in, the housing industry, and then the most important, wages, labor, like that's just going to take too long.
Yeah, no, that's exact. And I actually think, Powell, because one of the things I'm trying to educate folks on my daily financial news is inflation has three components. There's the physical goods, which I think we're at 6% in Q1.
For
You
the
know,
physical goods,
yeah,
easy
yeah, no,
goods,
yeah, good, easy, lop it off. We're there. Then there's the hard, which again is the industry we're in. It's housing, renters, owners equivalent rent, things like that's like Q3, right? Before that kind of rebaselines at a lower rate. And then there's the hard stuff. That's wages, services. Dude, we're going through structural deglobalization. That is inflationary. It's just it's probably the right thing to do, right? Being dependent on people that don't like us is not good for our economy. But that 3, 4, 5, 10-year journey of deglobalizing is inflationary. And it's going to take a while to ripple through, I think.
No, I agree. I just think we have a longer road ahead. I think, the market is correct in that, recession is clearly on its way in 2023 if it hasn't been the last, 6 months. And it was a nice in terms of last month for mortgage rates at least,
Yeah.
and kind of finding a trading range that just bounced between, unconventional stuff. I'm talking, primary, low sixes, right? And
Yeah.
having just sort of a baseline where we can kind of talk to a client and then come back a week later and the rate maybe be only 0.1 difference rather than a
Yeah.
full percent difference, right?
Yeah.
Helps. And I think we're on that track at least. We're not going to see. I think we're done at least with the rates went up 1.5% in the last 30 days.
No, I totally agree. I think the closer we get to terminal rate, and we're pretty close to that at this point, we're going to get a lot less volatility with rates. Here's a crazy question for you. I said this the other day, and I knew I was going to ask you. I said that I think my wild ass guess, my broken crystal ball says that best credit conventional, full down payment, full doc goes sub 6%, 30-year fixed sometime in Q1. What do you think of that crazy idea?
I don't think it's crazy because we have some different connections maybe than your other mortgage lender, but I was pricing one out where yesterday it was like a $700,000 purchase, first time home buyer in LA,
Nice.
20% down, and she was paying, I wanted to say like zero point 0.2 in points, and we were at 5.3. She had great credit.
5.3,
Yeah.
30-year fixed.
Yep.
See, and the reason I want to talk about this is I think we're finding a floor in most cities, even Phoenix and Vegas, right? I think these iBuyers who destroyed those markets are almost done selling out inventory, and we're just going to rebaseline. And I actually don't see a wave of inventory coming. So I think prices, my thought on prices is going to prove out where we're going to basically be boring. We'll be bouncing around plus or minus 1%. This, I was fearful like 6 weeks ago, Dustin. Maybe it was 7 weeks ago. And I'm like, when interest rates just exploded to like 7.3 or 7.5 or whatever they were that week, I'm like, damn, if this continues, we might actually see 8, 9, 10. I was like afraid of that.
Visits, I remember.
I
Just
remember,
living.
right? We had that conversation. I'm like, I mean, it's not my call, but at least I could see it as possible, right? And
For
I'm
sure.
like, oh, that was bad.
Yeah.
I don't see it anymore. I think 9% mortgages off the table, 10% off the table. I think eights are off the table. We're talking owner rock, all of that. Because I think
Yeah.
you're right. I think we found the range, we found the peak, and I actually think we trend lower. And I'm going to call sub 6. The average, right? The thing that gets reported Wednesday, I think it's Mortgage Business Daily or whatever it is. I think it'll be sub 6 in Q1
Yeah, no, I can see that. I still think because my conversations with clients are still, look, if you like it, lock it. I think
for sure. Oh yeah, for sure.
chances
Yeah,
of
please.
the amount that it can go lower is a lot less than the amount that it could go higher right now.
De-risk,
So
de-risk, please, de-risk.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. So at the end of the day, folks, if you want to work with somebody who's doing the business, in the business, has lots of different options, Convey Home Loans is the place to be. How do you want them to reach out, Dustin?
You can just go to our website, convoyhomeloans.com, fill out a quick questionnaire, and just put that you came from ORAT.
I love that ORAT's on the list. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool. And again, 5.3 first time buyer in LA. Seven. That's cool, man. 5.3. I bet there's a lot of people that think they didn't think they'd see 5.3 again. So
I didn't think
reach
I'd
out,
see
see
it.
what's possible.
Yeah, I was shocked, honestly.
There you go. Thanks, buddy. Take care.